Gibby, are you excited about this cold weather and snow coming?
Oh, yeah. I just can't wait. You know me, Scrib. Sign me up. It says 2 to 5 now, not 8 or whatever they were saying. We're going to get just so we know.
Live from the
So we'll be out
Justin
golfing pretty
Livestream
soon.
Network Studios, Scrib and Gib.
Gibby, it's not going to be that bad. It's just a little cold, a little rain, and then snow and ice.
Well, if we get 2 inches, I'm not going to make a comment. But, yeah.
Because Strand would.
Yeah, I know.
Moose would be over there saying something. Hey, we got some exciting stuff today. In studio is the head girls basketball coach, Mr. Justin Ritzer. Ritzer, how you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. We were trying to get you in here earlier. I know it's kind of been busy. You're kind of busy all the time right after school. I don't get it.
Yeah, it took up a lot of time this year, more than I would have thought, but it was fun.
That's good. So we'll get into that. We're going to talk Tiger sports. Now, the one thing that people don't know about Justin, he has a job, unlike the guy to my right of me right here. I don't know. Do you work?
My job is putting up with you.
Yeah, that's a good job to have.
And it's a full-time job.
Hey, somebody's got to put up with me besides my wife.
I know, and she's got many, many hats and jobs, and
well,
I feel bad for her.
I think it's good for her. She needs to, I bring patience and just calmness to the family.
Yeah. When we name a special field or special teams, kick after you, Scribner, it's
oh wow, that's kind of mean. All right, we're going to talk some, like I said, Tiger girls basketball. We're going to also talk some Tiger sports. We got to talk about the hockey game. So we talked about it last time. Hey, the big hockey game over in Wausau. We were all excited for that. That was gonna. We knew it was going to be a good hockey game, right, guys? And it was. Tigers were leading 3-1 into the second period, and then unfortunately, Bjorn Bonneman. I don't want to say took a hit because from what my speaking to his dad and also to Bjorn, I did see him at the basketball game on Tuesday. The girls, or not on the Friday, the boys game, sounded like he went in to deliver a hit, and the guy ducked at the last second, and he came down with his elbow on the dasher board, they call it, and that board was a little bit bigger or a little bit different than normal.
Somebody said something about the boards were offset because that's what the Zamboni goes through.
Yeah.
So it's something really strange about that, just that particular place on the boards.
And it's just a bummer. It was a clean break right above his elbow. I believe he had surgery today.
He did. Today he did. I was confirmed by his mom.
Yeah, and I was trying to talk to Bennett here already to see how it went. Hopefully it went well. So obviously all the prayers and thoughts going out to Bjorn Bonneman, heal up and get back on the ice. But, the kids had it, right? They were fighting 3-1. Then I think it was 4-2, I believe, in the second, if I remember right. And then the third, I just felt like the kids just started to they just couldn't hang on, and I think a little bit they got nervous and they got anxious with, a senior captain out, and there were some penalties. My gosh, they were on the penalty, the power play nonstop. And I'm not a hockey guy. We're listening to the one and only Brinkman and Brian Edwards, and they were saying, man, it seems some interesting penalties, but at the end of the day, you got to come out on top. They just couldn't. And it was 5-5, and then we gave up a goal with, I think it was like 2 minutes to go. Was that what it was? Strand, do you remember?
I don't remember off the top of my head. No.
Again, I heard it was late, like 38 seconds was a game winner.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So under 2 minutes, and they end up falling 6-5. So again, that's a heck of a, that group of guys, that hockey program the last 3 years have been on a tear. Winning state 2 years ago, second place last year, and just about got it. But hey, heck of a game. And
yeah, and that senior class has done such a great leadership example for other, I think, programs coming up. I know this weekend, Facebook was littered with state titles and state runner-ups from some of our younger programs. So it seems like there's a lot of good things and a lot of good teams and hockey players coming up through the system right now. So I think they have things rolling in the right direction. Yeah,
and it'll be exciting too. And now the next guy we got to talk. Whoa, you got Moose. He's bringing up a good picture, which is actually kind of cool.
That is an awesome
picture. I'll get out of the way here as he kind of gets it ready. But it was been some. There's the picture of Mr. Bonneman there with a bunch of the seniors and hockey boys. Giving him talking to him the day after the injury. So on Wednesday, a lot of the guys went over there and there to support him. That's his life, right? He loves hockey. He's going to play it in the future here. So it's good to see all those boys going over there and giving him the well wishes and being there and supporting him because that's a big injury.
Yeah, I wanted to pull that picture up because you talked about the senior leadership and just like the closeness they have. So
right,
and 100% being involved in hockey, past years and talking to all the hockey guys in town. We have some good groups coming up. Both Bantams won, or the A and B Bantams won state.
Yeah, that's I heard, yeah.
For hockey. The younger groups did too. So we just have a good group coming through in our youth program.
Yeah, that was good. Real good.
Yeah, that's exciting.
And you think about the hockey that we have in the area, giving a little shout out too. I mean, in Richmond in the last couple of years, very successful. Both Amory and Somerset are heading down to Madison. So 2 area teams. I wish both teams best of luck in that. So
But
it's good. It's always good.
But the thing is like, and we'll get to it with Justin here a little bit too about the WIA seeding as you get into the playoffs and how that stuff works. But for the 3rd time in the last 2 years, and I don't care. It doesn't, everybody on here knows I'm not the big hockey guy, but the WIA can sometimes just be smarter than the computer. And just think about this. For 3 years in a row, teams from the area are matched up first round playoff. 2 years ago was New Richmond and Menominee. And it's like, guys, they're the same conference. So just put them somewhere else so they don't have to play each other right away to drive 3.5 hours.
Right, to play each other.
I mean, how dumb is that?
Talking to a hockey head here from New Richmond. And the WIA, this is from a long time ago. This isn't just the last 3 years or 4 years.
Oh, really?
The WIA does not like it when these Northwestern teams come in and they don't want 2 Western teams in the championship. They want to have one from the east side. And he said they don't want to recognize that when we come in playing, all these kids growing up play Minnesota teams, and then they come in and then they get to play Wisconsin hockey, in the high school ranks. They don't want to recognize how good Minnesota really is when you come in with a, in the youth program. You come in with like a 10-15 record or 10-20 record, and then you get down to state Bantams, and then you're just wiping teams up, and they're like, "What's going on? The website must be wrong." And they're like, "No, we play D2 hockey, and the WIA does not like to recognize the fact or want 2 Western or Northwestern teams in that." And we are strong here for hockey programs. Obviously, sending Amory, Somerset. Other one would have been River Falls, State.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
And that's what I mean. And now they got to play each other. And I know Tomahawk is one of the better teams too. I know Richmond has played them, and they're the one for the Division II. But Amory and Somerset they're literally driving 3.5 hours to play for 2 freaking hours.
It's their biggest rival.
Yeah, and they're 15 minutes apart. It's almost like WI. Just let them play around here. I mean, you're.
It's just. I don't want to say it's a joke, and I'm not discrediting teams from the east side. I'm just saying. Talking to a hockey head, this has been going on for years because that's what they want, matchups.
It's not and I'm not saying it's a joke, but it's stupidity. The WIA should be smart enough to figure out we got 2 teams that are 20 minutes apart. Let's not play them the first round. I mean, seriously, it's that easy.
And they play every year.
Yes. So, I mean, that's the point. It's like, can we do something different so they don't have to drive 3.5 hours?
They're in the same conference. That's the way I should have put it. Sorry.
And put a little positive spin, because Brian's always so negative. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
So negative
He's
all the time.
He's so full of BS. Remember the BS?
To put some positiveness to this, it should be one hell of a game.
Yeah.
The last time they played for the conference championship, 3 overtimes?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it should
3
be
3 overtimes or something, and it was a crazy game. It was down in Altoona. So yeah, I'm excited for this game. It'll be a heck of a matchup.
I'm excited too. I just wish that if they are good enough, they play in the finals versus semifinals. Okay. But it is what it is. So we wish them.
Back to Tiger Sports.
Hey, we got to give a big shout out to the man, Luke Kamish.
Dad.
Jesus, Luke Kamish, who went down to state.
Woo!
And look at that picture.
I think that was his semi, right?
Yeah.
That was Friday night's win.
And that was crazy. Luke Kamish goes down there, 4-time, made it to state, kind of moved up every year, just getting better and better. And this year he got all the way to the finals against Luke. Not Luke. Was it Luke Warbert or Steve? I don't remember. Mr. Warbert.
He's a stud.
He's a stud.
Yeah,
I think
Stud Warburg is call him that.
Yeah.
He is a big time wrestler. And from people I've talked to, they thought like. This kid was going to do really well, and Kamish gave him a fight for 6 minutes.
4-2, man. Let's go. Congratulations.
And they were kind of his opponent got a couple stalling warnings at the end, and all he needed was one more takedown, and the Kamish could have been a state title. But hey, give him a huge shout out to Luke Kamish. Awesome career.
Over 150 wins.
Yep, most in Richmond history.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
And 4-time representative for the Richmond down at state and second place. So congratulations to Luke Kamish.
And just before we move on, you do want to wrestle him, right? Was that was that not a bet that we were going to?
I think you two got a tag team.
Yeah, it's Scrib starting.
It'll be just like WWF back in the day. You guys, you guys all of a sudden two guys against one.
Alligator arms. Come on, Scrib.
You were bragging about your 2-0 as in your Richmond.
There was no bragging. I'm pretty sure you two knuckleheads brought that up.
You said you're 2-0 as in your Richmond Tigers. So there's the guy. Go wrestle him, man.
I'm only 149 wins behind him. So
149.
I'm sorry, 149 wins behind him. Probably be more like 249.
There would be
the victory position. Well, for one of the two.
All right, we're going to move on to Tiger basketball, boys basketball. They'd finished up Friday night, senior night here against Chippewa Falls. Won. It was fun to see all the seniors get talked about and just going out there and having they had a good game, right? I mean, Chippewa Falls is down, obviously, this year for basketball, and they got beat pretty bad. But Tigers played well, and it was good to see 10 seniors and 11 counting the manager, so that was good to see. And they'll start playoffs tomorrow night, so we'll get this out as soon as we can tomorrow night.
Yep, we'll get
against
it out.
Ashland. So there's the boys got an opportunity here to make a run. Now their second round game is River Falls, right,
Yep.
Justin? Yeah, River Falls. So that'll be a tough game, but they split with them, and so they can definitely they got a potential. They could make a run in the playoffs. Second round game will be tough. It'll get tougher, obviously, but this is a team that, Justin, I mean, we talk a lot of basketball. I mean, they have a potential to win some games here.
Yeah, they got a lot of good athletes, and they can shoot. So anytime you can shoot and you have athletes, you got a chance.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so I'm excited. I mean, obviously, got to take care of business. You can never look by anybody, but because Ashland, they should be fine. But if they can get by River Falls, they have an opportunity to make a deep run here, and it'd be fun to see. It's been a while for New Richmond and girls or boys really to take a deep run, so it'll be fun to see. So looking forward to that game tomorrow. But hey, let's get right over to, we're going to talk to Mr. Justin Ritzer here. Justin, talk a little about girls basketball, your first year here leading the program. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are? We know where you're from, and I know you love to talk.
Well, the listeners might not know where
that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm originally from here. I think I graduated 2 years before you did.
No, years, please. Years.
Yeah.
Wait, no, what years?
93 for me.
95.
Yep.
Nice.
That's
I was 94. 94. When did you graduate?
99.
God, you're the young one here. And we can tell by how immature you are.
But there's times,
Wow.
but they kind of date their kids different in North Dakota. It's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like there's kids that come over in certain baseballs and he's pitching out there and like, how old is this kid? And he's 6'3", 250 pounds. And he's like, he's 11.
Check my birth certificate. Check my birth certificate.
What if that's like Moose, right? North Dakota,
We just got done talking about the old farm strength, remember?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you know what? Sorry, Justin, we got to get back to that. But we got sidetracked because I had a big question to ask him last Monday.
And you forgot.
And I
It melted really fast.
We were going to talk about
And it was still frozen underneath, and all the water ran off into the holes, nothing soaked in. There you go.
Okay, so you were watching the snow
I
melt.
didn't watch it. It's just
from his window, it was
Oh,
hours.
I bet you it was. Yeah. All right, so you're from here, graduated in 1993. What else you got to tell us about yourself? Because I know you like to talk about yourself.
Not at all. Went to college at Winona State. After that, moved to the cities, spent 20 rough years there, doing basketball stuff, working, then moved back here about 9 years ago.
Awesome.
And then been involved with the basketball program ever since.
Yeah, I would say you have been. You kind of live in the gym.
Yeah.
And on the golf course.
Yeah.
And it's paid off for your girls.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
My oldest daughter plays college golf at University of Sioux Falls and is having a good career there.
I was just going to ask, how's that going? They got a
Going
nice
good.
team there. And
Yep.
I know
Going good.
Laney's out there right across the street, basically, at Augustana. So
Yep.
they're playing against each other in tournaments. I know that's always exciting to watch those two play. And
Yeah,
Maggie,
and
is Maggie done?
Nope, Maggie's done after this year.
Oh,
so she's
awesome.
still there right now.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's outstanding.
So Maggie's the same as Abby, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
University of Sioux Falls.
yeah.
So they should have a good, and you were just talking, we were talking over the weekend, Abby's home, right?
Yep.
And she's trying to get out, play some golf around here.
Yeah, she leaves Friday for Oklahoma to go play in a tournament. So
I love it.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So awesome to hear when kids go out and play at the next level and have success.
yeah,
It's
and have
great.
fun. Yep.
Yeah, that's the most important. Love it.
All right. So you came in here after, Coach Walls was moving on, and you're coming in. Let's just tell us about the season, how it went. Like, I have my opinions. I thought it went well. It was fun to see. I know there was enthusiasm, but let's hear it from you, man. Well, I mean, hey.
Well, yeah, I know. As far as a win-loss, we had 6 wins, which was better than the previous year, but I think we had more success than we did wins. So what I mean is, I met with each girl before the season, or like 16 of the 20, and I asked them what's their biggest concern going into the season, and none of them except one was about wins. It was all about last year was a bad experience because culture, because they felt like everyone was in their own little group. They didn't get along as a team. So we focused mainly on that this year to change that experience. So we did a whole bunch of team bonding stuff. We did buddy weeks. We did team dinners as a team, not varsity and JV. A lot of our practices were done as a team. Like, we did not split up varsity and JV very often. We worked together. We went to the Gopher game. We couldn't get gym space in the gym. We went bowling. So it seemed like by the end of the year, everyone was friends with everyone. I know that's almost impossible, but it seemed like during practice, there was no little groups anymore. They were literally talking to each other the whole time. So I think as far as that part of it that we worked on, it went really well. And that helps build excitement in the program. Then what we also did is we spent a lot of time with the youth program. So I went to a lot of games. I went to some practices. But then, like, your grade level, 5th grade was in our gym, practicing with us. And for, like, the first 45 minutes, 5th grade girls ran drills with us. We did the same with 6th grade. We didn't get to do it much with 7th or 8th grade because their season's a little different than ours. But we're trying to do that. So we went to 7th and 8th grade girls basketball games in the middle school, just trying to build excitement and try to make, like, the whole girls basketball program feel like one big family. So I think we're getting towards that.
No, I would agree. I think obviously I saw a lot of that, and I mean, we saw it on the Justin live stream, and we streamed the 8th grade girls. I mean, Graceland, I think, spoke about trying to get Justin Strand there, and then Ritzer showed up. No,
I was suckered into coming to 8th grade girls basketball, but we did it.
Yeah. No, it was fun, but I mean, we saw that, Justin, and we talked about, me and Scott kind of mentioned.
The varsity girls were there.
Yeah, they're right in front.
Yep.
So,
and that was actually the varsity girls' idea. Like, I hadn't even thought of it because I was concentrating on the playoff game, but they came to me and said, "Hey, can we go to another game as a team?" I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So it was their idea.
Oh, that's awesome.
What was fun is you were there, I think, as well. But then not only that, some of the parents of the varsity players were there.
Yes. Yep.
That's really neat when you start seeing that culture start to build in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I know you hit the 7th grade girls games too. I talked to a couple people that were like, "Oh, all the girls were at the 7th grade girls game," and I kind of knew, right, because your girls had attended the 8th grade, I think, the week before. So that was really exciting to see, and I think people are recognizing that. So that's awesome. I think from the youth standpoint, obviously I do a lot with the youth. I think it's working because I know the girls are excited. I saw a lot of girls at games this year, so that's good. I mean, that's what you want to do, right? How do you get it in? So I think it's really cool that you were able to do that, Justin, and I think it's going to hopefully benefit the program because it's what it should be, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So concentrating on those youth programs now that you've done this for a year now, and I know there's probably more that you're going to have to see, but just what do you think right now if you say, okay, in the youth program, this is one thing that's top of my priority that you think would make the biggest effect on the program overall?
Well, as a program, we get better at shooting. Like,
okay.
We are one of the worst shooting teams in the Big Rivers. That and strength. So, like, I'm meeting with Coach Larson later this week, and we're going to talk about how I can get the girls' high school, maybe 7th through 12th grade, into the weight room all summer long.
Yeah.
Because we got to get stronger as a program. We got to become better shooters. And then what I want to do next fall is I want to get with all the youth coaches, and I want to get them starting to run what we run as far as offense and defense and stuff like that. So when they get to the high school program, we don't have to teach as much as we can develop once they get there because they're going to know what we're running.
Yeah, and it's crazy when you say something. Every time I talk to teams that are from successful programs, they always say, "Well, that's what we ran in 5th grade," and by the time we got. Why is that so difficult? And this is just an honest question for both of you possibly. Why is that so difficult for towns to do that when it seems like such a no-brainer?
I know, like, Hudson has the same problem. So I was talking to some of the Hudson high school coaches, and they said you can scout Eau Claire Memorial's varsity team by watching their 6th graders or 7th graders because they run the same thing.
Sure.
And Hudson can't get that either, so it's a tough thing to do. I think it's the high school coach is willing to go to the youth practices and helping out, but it's also the youth coaches are willing to maybe sacrifice some wins to start implementing what the high school coaches want. And I know that's tough. right?
Yeah, and I would say from a youth coach, I think it is, part of, I was here when Coach Ritzer was here, and he was really an advocate for similar to what Justin is trying to do of pushing down, right? I mean, that was his big thing. When I started coaching with him, I mean, we were going to practices all the time. Each one of us was signed a grade, and we were expected to show up 1 to 2 practices, if not more, and try to implement what he was doing. And his goal was, read and react at that time. I know you know that, Justin, because you were kind of part of it too. It was just at let's say 5th grade, only you run X, and then you just start building on it. I do think it's part of being there and being consistent. It's hard. I mean, I would really like, and I don't know from all the youth stuff, I just don't know too much about Eau Claire Memorial. Like, I don't know many people. A lot of the other schools I know somebody from, but them I don't. But what's interesting is they do it to a T.
Yep.
And if we can get half of that, I think it would be huge. And I think we're trying. I think it just takes a lot, and everybody's got to buy in. Yep. And I think it's the biggest thing at all the different levels is everybody's got to buy in.
Yeah.
Because if you have one grade that's not buying in, you're getting disconnected then. And then if there is success with that disconnection, well, then everybody's going to be like, well, look what he's doing. So I think it's hard. I think you got to get buy-in, but I think it's a shift. Right, it's a culture change. Yep. It's a program change. So I think it takes time.
It's the only way we'll have long-term success. Because in the Big Rivers programming, I saw firsthand this year, there's so many good athletes, so many.
Right.
So if we just keep doing what we're doing, and each grade level does their own thing, you're just waiting for that one group of good players to come through, and then you'll have success for a year or two, but you won't have success over time.
Right.
So if we want to have success over time, we got to all buy in and do the same thing and just get better,
Yep.
And that's me starting with the younger girls and trying to work all the way through. So
I can see that. And one thing that you said, Justin, I believe 100% when you said we're going to have to sacrifice possibly some wins at the youth levels. And that's another thing that we talk about a lot on here about youth sports. And I mean, one thing that we should probably just concentrate on just youth coaching. We could have a great podcast just on that, because I see it now firsthand with the volleyball programs. Because when you look at and the parents, obviously they're just great. So you're right, because I hear it all the time.
You're one of them.
Well, no, I see it. I see it a little bit bigger. Hey,
Travis Gibson.
I've got a ways to go too, but I will say this. So in volleyball terms, right, we're always trying to get the girls, to pass it, to set it, and then get a decent hit. Yeah. Well, you just hear people, well, just hit the ball over the net. Well, yeah, you might score some more points, but you're not growing as a program, and that means at 6th grade you might not hardly win a game, but hopefully in 7th grade, they're starting to learn on, the rotations and how do I, pass it, set it, and hit it correctly. And so it's there, but I think, like you said, Justin, I think it's you're either going to be okay and sit around and wait for that one class to come through, which should not be it, right? And I think, unfortunately, growing up in Richmond, you did as well, that used to a little bit be the montage. That used to kind of be, like, I remember, for instance, we didn't win nothing in football. And then all of a sudden we got this group of talented football players that came through, and we started winning. And,
Moose, you hear that?
We had a lot of good talented football. And all of a sudden we go to state your senior year, right? But we had a lot of good football players. It wasn't because of the weight room. It wasn't because of the youth sports. It was because we got a bunch of good football players together. And then, then you see the big dip that comes afterwards. So I agree 100%.
Did you play somewhere after high school? I don't remember.
Oh, God, just so he can honk. These just love to see I play.
Is that why he brought up Laney earlier in the conversation?
Yeah. Where did you play?
Augie. Same place as Laney. Oh, see. Yeah, there you go. But anyway, so I agree. And I think if any coaches, they just got to start being smarter, I guess, and just looking at a bigger picture. Because that really, truly is. Yeah. It's about development.
Hard. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I've been a youth coach forever. It's hard because you want to win, right? Because that's just how you're made.
You got to teach them how to do it.
But at the same time, you can't sacrifice developing above wins. So.
Right.
Do you think? Because I had fun watching your culture shift this year, and it's not something that happens in 1 year, right?
Yeah.
But you definitely took a huge stride, or 5 strides, or however you want to look at it. So congratulations on that. But do you think when it comes to the culture that you're changing, that can take over for the wins for the youth program to want to keep going? Because you want to win, not just as a parent, but you want to win for those kids. Because if they're going to lose every game, that gets frustrating for them, or if they lose half their games, or like we just talked about in hockey. You know, our youth program goes in, they're 10 and 15, but they're playing D2 and they're getting their butts kicked and go play Wisconsin teams and win. Yep. So can the culture take over, you know, to where it keeps the kids that interested instead of not getting a couple of those wins?
Maybe for a while. So I did exit interviews with every player, and I said, how can we keep the excitement going? And they said, well, just keep doing what you're doing, but sooner or later we have to start winning more games.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Well, the varsity side for sure, but that carries down to 6th grade or 5th grade or 7th grade, right?
Yeah. So the youth side too, I mean, just got to do more. You got to make it more enjoyable. Like we want to make girls basketball like a destination sport instead of something the girls have to play just to fill their winter sport. Mm-hmm. But something they're looking forward to, looking to train all year. So we have to make it more enjoyable at the youth level. Like, instead of nonstop just doing the same drill, maybe do the same drill but incorporate it into a game situation or something. It's going to take time, but it's just stuff like that where the girls want to play basketball.
Do you think, Justin, is it hard to find youth coaches?
Yes.
Okay.
I think right now on the girls' side for youth coaches, we have the best youth coaches we've had forever.
Okay, awesome.
I mean, they're great. I think usually it's hard, but right now, solid. I mean, some of the best coaches we could possibly have. So we're lucky right now on the girls' side.
Sure.
And they're developing the girls. You can see them getting better. So a couple weeks ago, I was in River Falls watching the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade girls, and 4th grade girls destroyed everyone. Travis Hellen's their coach, and I just like his demeanor when he's coaching and stuff. He's laid back. The girls don't feel any pressure. He's not getting super excited. Brian's doing a great job with 5th grade girls.
But not.
But he's a little excited. Yeah,
I was just going to ask, is Brian coaching 5th grade?
I won't mention how he got tossed in a game when I was coaching with them.
Can I question your sanity if you're saying you have the best coaches ever and Mr. Brian Scribner is in here?
But he's
really, in that group?
He's really committed.
That takes over for his.
No, he's doing a really good job with that grade
actions.
level. That grade level is really difficult because his daughter is really good. I mean, she has the ball skills and everything of like an 8th grader, and she's a 5th grader. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to incorporate everyone else into that, and he's doing a really good job with that.
Yes, the thing I touch on that is that's what you got to do, right? I mean, I see teams that run high ball screens all day long, and what is so one kid can score,
right?
I'll tell you, I'm going to interject on Graceland once. Graceland had a tournament. I know you were there, and Collins she was sitting on the bench with Alex Wold and came over afterwards. Oh, Graceland, you had 17 points. She goes, Graceland's response, and I didn't hear it. Scott Colden, she was like, I don't care. I just want to make sure we win. Not a lot of kids would say that. Yeah. And I think that's
well, she gets that from her mom as well. So
yeah, 100%. But I think that's what you're trying to change, right?
Yeah, so as a youth coach, I never kept a book. We didn't know who scored how many points. We just cared how many points we had on the total. Up on the scoreboard. Mm-hmm. So there's a few games I had a couple of girls really go off making threes. I wish I would have known what they scored, but we had no idea. We didn't keep a book because we didn't want the girls after the game to go look at the book and just concentrate on points.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think that's a bad thing after a while. So at the high school level you have to, but at the youth level, I think they just concentrate on running the system and not concentrate on scoring themselves. So.
And I think like you had mentioned too, keeping it fun. Looking at the girls' numbers, we had our youth podcast in here talking about traveling.
I listened to it, yep.
And with the number of volleyball players, is that making it? It's a problem,
so
and that's how do you?
I don't know. So when I was at River Falls a couple weeks ago, I talked to their head girls coach for like an hour, and they're having a huge problem with girls volleyball year round.
Yeah.
So I think he's got 16 girls in his high school program, and he said a couple of them he has to leave early from practice to go to volleyball just so they'll play.
Right.
So I don't know what the answer is. It's just you have to make it more enjoyable. You have to make it. Mm-hmm. But it seems like the shift is to go to volleyball. I mean, I don't know if it's because they don't have to run as hard. If it's
Well, I mean, it is. It is. I mean, I was talking to the volleyball, the president of the youth organization. I told her flat out, and she kind of gave me, which I expect her to kind of look at me weird. I'm like, but at the youth level, it is. There's not as much running. Now, when you get to the high school level, college level, those girls are busting their butt, right?
Really because
I mean, the ball is coming 200 miles an hour, and you got to be moving at, you just got to be just constantly moving. But at the youth, it's different. And you don't have to run up and down the court. And that's a reality of basketball. Specifically now, I mean, teams are pushing it. If they're not pushing it, they're pressing. Or they're shooting constant threes, so you're running. We're in the cities, if you play anything, 5th grade and up, 9 out of 10 times you're getting pressed. Yep. I know when we played in Brooklyn Park, Collins, like you were saying, she's one of our better ball handlers. She was pressed nonstop. She never got a break. And we're trying to get other girls to be at that same level, but she was pressed nonstop, so she has to run nonstop. And it's taxing, and I think that's the thing that you see in the girls.
And it might be an individual thing, too. I think it would be hard. I think there's some girls, if you say, do you not play basketball because you're afraid of the runnings? They might say, no, that's not why I don't play it. I don't play it because, or the physicalness either. But to me, I just think they might just sheer up, play and enjoy volleyball. And the other thing is, too, I think volleyball does a really nice job of pushing social media. Like, I almost feel, in a lack of better terms, especially with because there's times I'm like, really? Like, I'll look at like a girl that might play for Kansas or Wisconsin, and it's like a model picture. You know what I'm saying? It's a different, it's like this different aura, and I think it's right now, and now that might go like this, because obviously when you look at youth participation in volleyball and the cost of it 10 years ago, it's not even close to what it is right now. So it might be maybe a hot ticket, but now that we've got professional volleyball, girls are going to start making money, and now they're getting TikTok followers, and they get paid from all that kind of thing. And I think there's just
here's the other problem, though. So, like in high school, the volleyball season's in the fall, right?
Yeah.
You can't play there's no basketball we played in the fall. But during basketball season, you can play volleyball.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So that's what's taking away from high school girls basketball, because there's another option, because volleyball is basically year-round.
Yeah,
but you can't play basketball during volleyball season. There's nowhere to play. There's no AAU. There's no contact days. There's nothing.
That has to deal with the facilities, right? Because I was just talking to Buck. They get the Minneapolis Convention Center. Their group has their floors. They lay the floors down. They put the nets up. There's how many courts, and then they're done. And then at the end, they take them all up. They put them away. Put them in a trailer, and they go to they wait till their next tournament. You're not doing that with basketball equipment. You're not laying down a basketball floor, putting the hoops on the end. So it has to deal with facilities. It has to deal with, I think, you can fit thousands of girls at the Minneapolis Convention Center on 30 courts that they have set up for a volleyball tournament.
Yeah, I think, that is a good point.
There's more opportunity, I think, is what's happening.
There's way more opportunity.
Yeah, and I think that's where you're going, right? Because it's weird that there is no you can maybe find an AAU tournament, but you got to look hard. Yeah, but it's weird that there's nothing during really that August, September, October timeframe. But then after that, when basketball starts, volleyball amps up. Now, basketball's amped up, right? But it's
taking athletes away.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
So the 3-sport athletes going away. Because
there's no doubt.
Yeah, So we had a head coaches meeting in Richmond a couple weeks ago, and that's one of the biggest problems is there's not a lot of 3-sport girl athletes anymore.
Okay. Is there a lot of guys that are out?
Yeah, there's still a ton of guys playing 3 sports. But for females, nope.
Just look at some of the basketball players, like Ani, Eckert, Abe.
Yeah, for
sure. Now, Abe doesn't play a spring sport, which he could easily, but, Aiden and Alex both play, and Sal Wright. Yeah. There's a lot of guys that do play 3.
It's all different kinds of sports, whether it's golf or baseball or whatever it might be in the spring, and you get cross country, you get football, you get, there's a lot of kids that do all those sports.
Yeah.
And I'm a big 3-sport athlete. Like right now, we're not going to do anything for the spring, just to let the girls that are playing the spring sport go play and
encourage them to go do
it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Like right now, I think we only have one girl that only plays basketball.
What's the girls' spring sport?
Track, soccer,
golf,
soccer,
golf.
Yep.
No, golf in the fall.
Yep. Track and soccer.
In Minnesota,
softball.
In Minnesota, I think
tennis is fall too, I believe, right?
Yep. Softball, but
softball's a big one.
Yep. So it'll be softball, soccer, and track.
And we just don't have enough girls in our school to have them start specializing in one sport year round.
We're not
don't have
enough.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Wow.
Yeah, and I agree. Yeah, and we talk about all the time. Like we're just, even on the boys' side, we're not really big enough yet. Everybody's like, well, you're like by Hudson. I'm like, Hudson's twice the size of us.
They're huge.
It is twice. You don't realize it, right? You don't realize until you think about the numbers. They're twice the size. It is kind of crazy.
So you mentioned, let's go back. So we're talking off season, right?
Yep.
So you mentioned you're talking to Coach Larson
Yep.
about getting a program 7th. Is there one in place, or just the off season lift that he has in place right now? Is there one in place for girls basketball, or
Not
just
that
the
I know.
off season
So-
athlete? Because
Yeah.
they have one that's just out there.
Yeah, so during the season, we're trying to lift twice a week, but powerlifting's become so huge.
Yeah, that's got to be hard.
That we just couldn't. We lifted like maybe once a week, if that. And I know I talked to a lot of the girls, and a lot of them don't lift year round. So that was one of the things I wanted to talk to him about. How can we start implementing lifting for
Yeah.
the whole year for girls?
And I just asked because, like my freshman son power lifts,
Yep.
and they have a break until the spring powerlifting kicks in, the off season.
Yep.
And so I contacted Coach Larson. He's like, "Yep, we have an off season lift. It's from what is it, right after school? So it's 3 to 4,
Yeah.
or 3
Yeah.
to 4:30, whatever it is." He said it's going to look way different than powerlifting, and I don't care. But what's fun is Mac got involved in powerlifting, loved it, and now he goes 3 days a week to the off season. So
Yeah.
I was just curious if there was a special program for.
That's what I'm going to try
Girls
to do, because
basketball.
I think sometimes girls are hesitant to go in the weight room. It's a bunch of guys in there too.
It's intimidating unless you
yes.
see Brian Scribner. Then they're bigger than him.
exactly, Yeah.
Definitely stronger.
See what I got to put up with all the time here, Justin?
I listen. I hear.
So
He agrees.
and
He's
that's
just too
the
quiet
one
to
thing
say it.
too, because it was evident in the volleyball season too when we went and played Hudson in the playoffs. It was like these girls are they jump higher than we do, hits harder than we do. So I know that's something that Juliana gets to. So that must be a little bit of a girls' athletic thing that just to get,
We just
because you
gotta get
can't just be can't just have the girls' basketball program lift and then none of the other programs lift, because
So-
then if they're not in
that's-
basketball, then they're not lifting weights.
So that's what I want to talk to him about, is like if I can volunteer to open up the weight room 3 days a week or whatever, and just have girls come in.
Yeah.
When he's busy with his stuff or whatever, I'm willing to do that just to get.
Even if he
all-
shows you,
Yeah.
what.
So
How they wants to do it, and lifts and everything. And then the nice part is too, we got our trainer who's very good about joining in with that stuff too.
Yeah. And if there's one thing, if there's any female high school athlete, listen to this about lifting weights. I'm going to tell you this right now in the camera. You're not going to get bulky. Okay? I want to beat my head against the locker when I hear girls go, I would lift, but I don't want to get bulky. Are you kidding me? You know how hard it is to get bulky?
You have to, you have to eat to get bulky.
I mean, yeah, and it's just, you're not going to get bulky. Just trust
You're
me
gonna get
on
stronger.
this. You're going to get stronger. You're not going to get bulky. Don't worry about it. It drives me crazy.
oh, Travis.
Oh my God! I'll tell you how I really feel. But
All right, let's just last couple questions for Justin. Justin, what are you most excited about coming up now? Your first season, right? I mean, I know that's a lot. You kind of got hired on towards the end of the summer, or middle of the summer to the end, so you had a limited time. What are you looking forward to the future here, to the spring, summer, and then next season?
Just keep growing the program, working with the youth, trying to get more excitement, get stronger, build skills, and go into the next year and do it all over again. It's not going to be a one-year fix where all of a sudden we can coach our way to the top. It's something where we got to build the program up so then we can just have success over a long time. It's going to take a while. So.
And you like the gym, so it's fun to see you in the fall. We'll see you at volleyball games. You're always there.
Yeah,
so that's
I try
what
to,
I've noticed. It's you're there to support these girls.
Yeah, I try to go to everything. Any girl that's in a sport, I try to go at least once just to show that I'm supporting them the whole time. So.
Well, I do know the youth appreciates you because we see you at all the tournaments. Now you're in the Hudson tournament. You were over this week in St. Croix Falls watching the 8th grade girls. You're kind of everywhere when it comes to the summer. I mean, to the youth. So it's really appreciated from a youth organization. We really appreciate seeing you, and the girls appreciate it. Like I know I've talked to the girls. Like I'm big on it. I think it's huge, and they recognize, they know who Coach Ritzer is. So I think it's great that what you're doing. It's really awesome. I'm excited.
kind of a big deal.
No.
Yeah, he is.
I just wanted his reaction.
I love that. Well, I know you coached. I've heard in the past you did the golf thing last year with the boys. So that was. I know people talked about that. They really appreciated you. So, and I know I drive by the golf course. You're always out there with somebody working with them.
Once in a while.
I don't know about that.
well, don't even try it with Brian.
I might be open for some lessons.
Yeah, well, after last night, yeah.
Just go right down the hallway to Scott.
That's a good point, yeah.
Or Gibby's for bowling. I would say.
Yeah.
All right, you got anything else there for him?
I don't. That's great. Thank you
All right,
so much
thank
for
you.
coming on.
Yeah, thanks, Justin, coming on. We really appreciate it. It was fun watching you coach, and we'll look forward to the off season and next year. It's crazy. It'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, it flies by. It went fast.
Yeah.
All right, your Lady Tigers head coach, Mr. Justin Ritzer. I'm Scrib.
I'm Gib.
We got Moose playing music.